combination of a battery of artillery. We're going to fire the gun, and then after it's fired and you've recovered from that for a minute, you want to step right back here. Remember, we're going to...
Just a couple minutes to talk about the cannon. This is a 10-pound Parrott rifle. It's rifled, maximum range over 2 miles, accurate range about 1 mile. A full crew is numbered positions. They have number 1 through 5 on the cannon, 6 and 7 back on the limber chest. That's where our ammunition is. They prepare the shells. And there's a corporal and a sergeant, so that's 9 men per gun. But as men get killed or wounded, you could fire with less. So you could fire this with 3 men if you had to, but you'd have a slower rate of fire. And in certain battles, General Longstreet, in charge of 1 corps of the Confederate Army, he had his staff firing a section of artillery because the artillerymen were killed or wounded and they needed a gunfire. So they had captains and majors servicing the gun. So you could fire with less guys, but nine people are the opposite. Yeah, we'll have you move back as we get to. So we'll start out with our number 1 man. This is the muzzle loader. Everything gets loaded through the front. So he's got that equipment right there. It's got a sponge head. Every time this gun's fired, there's a chance there's going to be burning embers. It's going to be hot. Before we put a new powder charge, we want to cool it and wet it, and that hopefully will extinguish any of the fire, burning embers from the last shot. The other end is the ramming end, and that pushes the shell and the powder down. And also he has a thing that looks like a corkscrew. That's a worm. Every time the gun fires, there's a chance the old cartridge bag will still be in the back end and it will be burning. So we want to pull that out, clean the barrel with the water and the sponge, cool it, and extinguish any sparks before we put any more powder in. Our number 2 man at the front, he's going to work with our number 5 man, the man back by our limber chest. He's going to get the round and bring it up and hand it to number 2. Our number 3 man is the vent man, and here's someone's safety of fire in the hole. There's a hole back here. The charge gets rammed down. He has that copper wire. He cuts the charge, exposing the gunpowder. And then our number 4 man, he puts the primer in. And in the movies, you used to see a torch, and they could use something like a torch or a flare, but what they prefer to have is a friction primer. And it's just a little tube. It's got a mercury sulfur compound. You pull this and it makes a nice hot spark. It sounds like a cap gun going off. So you pull this, primer, and it ignites the main charge in front. Sometimes there's a little delay. These things are crude, not as reliable as modern stuff. So every once in a while we'll get a misfire, we'll get a bad primer. But if you fire it on a fuse and you're at a moving target, it takes time for the fuse to burn down. So this, you have your target in sight, you pull this lanyard and everything works, you get one big boom, it fires right away.
What do you do if there's a misfire?
If we get a misfire, sometimes it's the primer that's bad, and we just put a new primer in. But if there's actually been a spark, it went off, we could try to reprime it again a couple times. If it doesn't do it, it's not usually going to fire. So then we have a misfire, we have a procedure where we put the implements in front, letting everyone know we have a problem. We put water down the vent hole, water down the bore, and we have to wait a few minutes to let the round get soaked with water. And then sometimes you can lift the trail up because there's no shell in there. The charger pot, otherwise we had to use that worm and dig it out. It happens every now and then. So everything stops, that's a safety thing if that happens. But it does happen occasionally. And back at our limber, we have our 6 and 7 man, and they're preparing the shells. And you see when we load, the number 5 man will go up and the corporal will check his ammunition and make sure that's around he wants. So the guys that's back to limber, they have to be able to read in the firing charge how far we want to go, what length of fuse we have. So we'll do a dry run on loading. So this is just for a blank, but you guys can make a little room. And we're not actually going to fire it. We're just going to go talk our way through it right now. Then we'll make sure everyone clears way back. So Ken, is your post? Load. So the number 5 man's bringing the round up. The end it's in number 2 man.
All right. Bye-bye.
Just for drill. That's it. Puts the round in. That's it. Anytime anybody's working on the gun, that back of the vent is called the vent speed stop. It's plugged just in case there was an ember and there was a slight breeze like today, it could glow up like someone inhaling on a cigarette.
This one has the end on it. Yeah, that one has the end.
No, I know. Yes, but none of them go all the way down. Well, you just have to shove
That's
it.
because it's better. That's it.
And we're actually using the Rebel gun
captured
today.
Rebel equipment, and it's not.
The Union stuff isn't like this, folks.
Our gun is at the other side of the field, and the crowd's not going to come down there. So we're
Take this.
and then he's cutting the charge. And if you put the primer on top, and that charge isn't cut, chances are it won't go off. It has to hit the gunpowder.
That's it.
So it's pretty quick to load, but aiming takes a while. At this is going to be about 5 ounces. A real load is 1 pound of powder. And you're shooting a projectile, this gun will kick back 5 to 6 feet recoil. So if you want to be accurate, you have to see where that shell went and then push the gun back in the spot. So loading's pretty quick, aiming takes time. If you're doing long distance, firing a mile away, you take your time. You have to consider it's just across the field, there's a type of ammunition canister like a shotgun. You can fire this thing 3-4 times a minute real fast.
Wow.
That means the enemy's right on you.
Wow.
So okay, now we're gonna get ready to load it for real. So we need to get you guys to get.
You're not too close.
Now we'll let our rebels in front of us know we're gonna fire too. Huh?
Cover your ears.
Looks like they're leaving. Okay, the round's coming up.
It's gonna be loud, Ryan.
We'll let you know. We'll make sure you can cover your ears. There's our round being put in.
That's it. That's it.
Pretty much it's loaded. So now you guys want to cover your ears.
Cover your ears, Christian.
And maybe you guys right here.
Put your fingers in your ears.
A little bit more.
That's gonna hurt my one ear.
Cover your ears.
Clear front.
Clear! Fire!
That wasn't even that loud. That wasn't loud.
I could hear that.
That's it.
Woo! Yeah!
Yeah.